Good evening, everyone. It's that Friday feeling yet again. It can only mean one thing. Yeah, we're back. Week number 9, Friday, January 15th. We're rolling camera. Hopefully we've got sound. It is the LA Cinema Quiz. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. It's James, your host, your quiz master this evening. Back, as I said, for the 9th week running with the LA Cinema Quiz. We're here every week, 8:30 the time, normally for 90 minutes. 5 rounds, a total of 50 questions, all on cinema, testing your knowledge. We've also got the live chat window, which we use every week. So if you just logged on or you're subscribed, thank you indeed. Please introduce yourselves. Let me know if you played the quiz before, if you're a regular, maybe you're not, and let me know where you're playing from. A familiar face from Dundry, I believe, is Spiky Chick joining us for the quiz this evening. Thanks again. Hope you're well. Let me know if you're playing this evening, if you're based within the UK, or if you're based from outside the UK, let me know. And we'll start the 9th edition of this week's quiz in just a minute. Okay, so we always start by introducing the rounds. So what are the subjects for this evening? Here we go. Round number 1 was a suggestion from last week, from January the 8th's quiz. I think Bikey Chick asked for the Hollywood actor Christian Slater. So Christian Slater is round number 1. Round number 2, something a little bit different. Famous alcoholic drinks, maybe a cocktail. So famous drinks in the movies. Round number 3, we did a round last week on 1990s culture. We're going to go back 2 decades to the 1970s for round number 3 with 1970s culture. Then we're going to do computer game film adaptations for your round number 4, and a recommendation from Richard in London last week, wanting the old Carry On films, the British Carry On films. I think they started in, was it the late 50s? I think it was, and then beyond. A couple of people here just introducing themselves. Lucy Hawkins, another familiar name, from Scotland, in the snow, cold in Scotland, north the border. Suzanne Chilcott saying hello. A big film fan, again from Long Ashton in the village. It's Dave Saville, Dave Films, and the Richards in the city of Bristol. Good to see you back for tonight's quiz. Okay, so before we start, I was going to just announce a couple of bits of news that I've picked up on this week, a couple of little things to pick up on, then a couple of DVDs that I've picked up, also the mini film reviews, and then before we reveal the answers for this week, I was going to ask you a couple of subjects, cinema related, to hear your thoughts and opinions. So here we go. This week's news. It's looking pretty bleak again with regard to the James Bond No Time to Die release. It's been postponed on several occasions now, I think 3 times. Looking like it's going to be pushed back to the autumn now. It was going to be released in April. Looking now like it's going to be released later in the autumn of this year. We sadly lost the British director Michael Apted, who died this week, age 79. Quite a prolific CV, a variation of films, including Agatha with Dustin Hoffman, The Coal Miner's Daughter, which was with Sissy Spacek. I think it won the Academy Award. Gorky Park, Nell, which was a good film, and he also did the 007 Bond film, The World Is Not Enough. Okay, so I always, every week, just talk about some DVD or Blu-ray films I picked up. I've been trying to scale down a bit on my collection, which you'll see behind, with various box sets, Blu-rays, DVDs. So this week I picked up a couple of stuff for the kids. You may remember these. These are some cartoon series box sets from the 1980s that I kind of wanted to catch up on again and introduce them to. They might be a little bit too young, but I picked these up on eBay. This might give you a little bit of nostalgia. The first one was an 80s animation, the complete series of Mask. I used to watch this as a kid. I think there was a toy line as well. So I've got this to introduce to the kids. The classic 1980s series is back. And then the other one, the toys go for an absolute arm and a leg. They're like collector's items on eBay now. The Visionaires. Can you remember these? The Visionaries? Another 1980s children's animation back in the day. So the complete series of that, and they used to have holograms on them, the figures. They were really good. So might put a couple of episodes of those on, see what they're like, if they hold the test of time. Okay, I'm going to do my mini film review for this week of the first film I watched and see if you've seen it. It's an old film. It's a sports movie that I highly recommend. It was great, but I'll tell you about it a bit later. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Are you ready for tonight's quiz? The only thing I'll say, we got the live chat window. Obviously, don't write your answers there because people will see them. And we'll reveal the answers at the end, and we'll see how you got on for this 9th edition. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it. It's all good fun just to test your film knowledge. What was round number 1 then? So Bikey Chick is a big fan of Christian Slater. A bit of a crush on him back in the day. So round 1, 10 questions on Christian Slater. Are you ready? Here we go. And I'll do these slowly and repeat them. Question number 1. Christian Slater plays Clarence Worley, a lonely pop culture geek who marries a cool girl and steals cocaine from a pimp and tries to sell it in Hollywood in True Romance. But name the actress who plays his wife, Alabama Whitman. That's question number 1. Good evening, Shirley. We're going back to the 90s, the early 90s, with a good film. Tony Scott film True Romance. Here's the question again. Christian Slater plays Clarence Worley, a lonely pop culture geek who marries a cool girl and steals cocaine from a pimp and tries to sell it in Hollywood in the film True Romance. But name the actress who plays his wife, Alabama Whitman. So I'm looking for the actress's name in that particular film. It's True Romance. Screenplay written by Quentin Tarantino, one of his early efforts. Here we go. Christian Slater round number 2. Name the character Slater plays in the 1991 blockbuster Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's number 2. A big film in 91 with Kevin Costner, obviously as Robin Hood. But here's number 2. Name the character Christian Slater plays in the 1991 blockbuster Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So I'm just looking specifically for the name of the role, the character he plays. Moving on to question number 3 in round 1. Here we go. Looking for the name of a film from the late 1980s. Slater co-stars alongside Winona Ryder in which black comedy from 1989? It's about a good girl who wants to get out of a snobby clique and teams up with a dark sociopath in a plot to kill the cool kids. This one recently got a 4K re-release. I think it was last year. Didn't catch the cinema release. But here we go again. Slater co-stars alongside Winona Ryder in which black comedy from 1989? It's about a good girl who wants to get out of a snobby clique and teams up with a dark sociopath in a plot to kill the cool kids. Okay, so we move from a film from 1989. Now I'm looking for the name of an actress. Here we go. Number 4. Slater plays a shy florist who falls in love with a young career girl in the 1996 romantic drama Bed of Roses, but name his female co-star. I'll give you a clue. This woman or actress was kind of more known for her roles in the 80s. Good actress. I wouldn't necessarily say an A-list actress. So number 4 again. Slater plays a shy florist who falls in love with a young career girl in the 1996 romantic drama Bed of Roses, but name his female co-star. Nearly halfway through the round. What's everyone drinking this evening? I'm trying to be a good boy in January and limit the alcohol consumption, so I'm on the water. Don't want to get drunk for this quiz either. Slur my words. Number 5 now. Name this John Woo directed action thriller released in 1996. A terrorist steals nuclear warheads from the US military, but didn't count on a pilot and park ranger to spoil their plans. Slater stars alongside John Travolta and Samantha Mathis. Remember seeing this one at the cinema, back at the Odeon in the centre of Bristol. God, it seems years ago. Number 5, name this John Woo directed action thriller released in 1996. A terrorist steals nuclear warheads from the US military, but didn't count on a pilot and park ranger to spoil their plans. Christian Slater co-stars alongside John Travolta, who plays the bad guy, and Samantha Mathis. Whatever happened to Samantha Mathis? You kind of got quite popular in the 90s. Number 6 now, a couple more left. This is a tricky one, tricky question now. I wouldn't know this answer at all. Slater won a Golden Globe in 2015 in the category of Best Actor in a Supporting Role for a miniseries about a cyber security engineer and a vigilante hacker who become key figures in a complex game of global dominance. But tell me the name of the series. So we move from a film question to a TV one. So Christian Slater won the Golden Globe in 2015 for the Best Supporting Actor role in a miniseries. It's about a cybersecurity engineer and a vigilante hacker who become key figures in a complex game of global dominance. But tell me the name of the series. Going to move back quite a few years for number 7. We go from 2015 back to 1998. Here we go. Name the 1998 Christian Slater movie, co-starring Cameron Diaz, about a prostitute killed during a bachelor party, where the attendees turn on each other as the wedding approaches. The film I'd never seen, from the late 1990s. Is Christian Slater co-starring alongside Cameron Diaz about a prostitute killed during a bachelor party where the attendees turn on each other as the wedding approaches. But for 1 point, tell me the name of the movie. Number 8 now, I'm looking for a film director, a controversial figure in world cinema. Here's the question. Number 8, Slater appears in the 2013 epic Nymphomaniac Volumes 1 and 2, but name its controversial Danish director who was part of the 90s Dogma filmmaking movement. A prolific filmmaker, He got himself into trouble a few years back at the Cannes Film Festival and was banned from the festival for a number of years after a press conference. We'll discuss that a bit later. Number 8, Slater appears in the 2013 epic Nymphomaniac, Volumes 1 and 2, but name its controversial Danish director, who was part of the 90s dogma filmmaking movement. 2 more to go. We move to the 90s now. 1990, never seen this movie. Here it is, number 9. Name the 1990 Slater movie where he runs a pirate radio station which causes an uproar when he speaks his mind and enthralls fellow teenagers. The film from the beginning of the 90s decade, released in 1990. So Christian Slater plays a pirate radio station host who causes an uproar when he speaks his mind and enthralls fellow teenagers. But for 1 point, what is the name of that 1990 film? And the last one of the round, as we complete the first round for tonight, we move to animation, family children's movie, 1992. Slater provides the voice of Pips in which 1992 children's animated feature about the magical inhabitants who fight to save their rainforest. And I'll repeat that last one tonight, number 10. Christian Slater provides the voice of Pips in which 1992 children's animated feature about the magical inhabitants who fight to save their rainforest. That is all 10. Christian Slater, especially for Bikey Chick. The autograph and signed photo will be in the post. That's not mine, Christian Slater's. How did you get on with this round? Do you know your Christian Slater films? Any predicted scores for the round? And if you need any repeating, just let me know and I can read them back. Not a problem at all. How is everyone this evening? How's your week's been? Your week? I've been doing homeschooling with my eldest son. That's been pretty tricky, to say the least. Been a bit of an up and down week. I think we're all getting a little bit, I don't know if bored's the right, bit frustrated with these lockdowns. Dave knows his films. I thought he might do well with his Christian Slater ones. Bikey Chick thinks she got an 8, which would be a good start to tonight's quiz. Anyone else confident quietly or very confident? We'll move on to round number 2 in just a minute. Another 10 questions. A little bit of a different round for number 2. And yeah, if you need any repeating, just let me know before we move on. Okay, so round 2 this evening. Amanda, Mr. Harlequin, got a round for you later on. Round number 5 on Carry On movies, the old British comedy films. Amanda thinks an 8 would be another good score. Okay, different round for number 2. It's entitled Famous Drinks in the Movies. Okay, so I'm going to describe a drink, a scene where someone has an alcoholic beverage or a cocktail, and I want you to tell me the name of the film. There's some little clues in there to help you on the way. And we've got 10 questions. Famous drinks in the movies. Susan, not bad. Enjoying a GT. Carry On, Amanda's absolute favourite. We'll discuss the political correctness of these films a bit later on in tonight's quiz. Here we go. Round number 2. Okay, so the drink is, for question 1, the drink is a White Russian from a much-loved 1998 black comedy featuring the Dude. I imagine most of you are going to get this. I know one person in particular have a smile on his face. That's a point. So the drink is a White Russian from a much-loved 1998 black comedy featuring the one and only The Dude. Great film. I think it's voted one of their best, if not their best. Number 2, the drink is free orange whips, declares Burton Mercier in which 1980 musical? Bikey Chick saying a favourite. Yeah, a lot of people love that film. The answer will be revealed at the end. But the drink for number 2 is a cocktail. Free orange whips, declares Burton Mercier in a 1980 musical. But what film musical is that drink consumed? Tricky one. Number 3 is a hard one. So we got a cocktail. A sidecar cocktail consists of cognac, orange liqueur, and lemon juice. A classy drink from a box office flop and a critical failure based on a 1987 satirical novel. So the novel was highly rated, the film critically panned, and a box office failure. But what was the drink? It was a sidecar cocktail. Consists of cognac, orange liqueur, and lemon juice. A classy drink, but from a box office flop and a critical failure, but based on a 1987 satirical novel. So an American novel, the drink, a sidecar cocktail. What is the film? We move on to number 4. It's making me in the mood now to make a cocktail. Not that I'd know what I was doing. I'd never make a good barman. Number 4, a lovable, bright, vulnerable character declares she's going to soothe a broken heart with Shaka Khan and vodka. Name the character that delivers that line. Famous film character, adored. But here's 4 again. So a lovable, bright, vulnerable character declares she's going to soothe a broken heart with Shaka Khan and vodka. Name the character who delivers that line. That's 4. Number 5, we're going back to the classical days of the black and white cinema in Hollywood. Here we go. Number 5 is a French 75, a bittersweet cocktail from a classic 1940s romantic war movie set in World War II. But name that film. This is a legendary film, probably one of the greatest Hollywood films, studio films ever made. But number 5 is a French 75, a bittersweet cocktail from a classic 1940s romantic war movie set during World War II. But name that film. How's everyone getting on with these? Some tricky ones in there. Number 6, a vodka Vesper Martini. What the hell? A cocktail from a 2006 espionage movie. But which one? So I'll repeat 6 again. The drink is a vodka Vesper Martini. It sounds like a car, Vesper, doesn't it? Or a motorbike. It's a cocktail from a 2006 espionage movie. But which one? That is 6. Come down to the last 3 questions. I'll move on to 7. Another cocktail. A red-eye cocktail. The perfect hangover cure with a mix of lager, tomato juice, and egg. It features in which popular 1980s film set in Jamaica? This is a film that was always used to be on the telly, late night, normally on ITV. People love it, quite popular. But the cocktail was a red eye cocktail. the perfect hangover cure with a mix of lager, tomato juice and egg, and it features in which popular 1980s film set in Jamaica? Another drink for number 8. Get the barman to prepare it. But this time it's an aperitif. An aperitif. A sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. However, character Phil Connors had to take his the same way every day in this 1993 comedy. But which movie comedy? Taking it the same way is a clue, big clue for that one. So number 8, it's an aperitif. It's a sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. However, character Phil Connors has to take his the same way every day in this 1993 comedy. But which movie comedy? That is number 8. Number 9's a little bit harder. I wouldn't have a foggiest idea of the answer to this. But number 9 is several midnight margaritas consumed by the wonderfully wacky Owens family witches in which 1998 fantasy comedy? That's 9. One more left. I'll repeat this one back. So number 9 again. Several midnight margaritas consumed by the wonderfully wacky Owens family witches in a 1998 fantasy comedy. All I'm looking for is the name of that comedy film. And we move on to the last one, which is number 10, as we complete round 2. Here we go. Number 10. A famous line from a Best Picture winner. Here's the line. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Name the film. I think most of you will get this one right. It's such a famous line. Number 10 again, a famous line from a Best Picture Oscar winner. Here's the line again. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Name the film. So that's all 10. That's round number 2. Anyone need any reading back? How did you get on with your cocktails and your alcoholic beverages? Did it make you feel like you wanted to make a cocktail this evening? Or was it painfully hard? Let me know how you got on, how you fared. And as I said, if you need any shouting back, just let me know. Bikey Chick, liking that round. I must admit, I quite enjoyed coming up with this one on Monday. It's quite good fun. I enjoyed this one, like the movie props that we do and the taglines. Bikey Chick saying, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, a 10. Anyone need any shouting back? Before we do that, the round 3, I'll tell you about the first film I watched during the week, my first mini review, and it's a film probably most of you have seen, and it's an old film from the late 1980s, one I'd never seen before. I thought I'd stick it on. Lucy Hawkins thought that was a pretty tricky round, saying very hard. And Susan Chilcott asking for number 9 again. Yeah, no problem. Here's 9 again. So the drink is several midnight margaritas consumed by the wonderfully wacky Owens family witches in which 1998 fantasy comedy. So I'm looking for a fantasy comedy. Came out in 1998. It's the wacky Owens family witches who consume midnight margaritas. Didn't do too well on that round. See if you fare better for round number 3, Dave. Round number 3 is 1970s culture, which I think was the year you were born. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But before a little mini review, I always talk about a couple of films I watched during the week. just to break up the quiz and just see if you've seen the films and whether you agree or disagree with my verdict on it. Okay, so I've been going through a phase of watching a couple of the old Kevin Costner films, and I got to be honest, I quite like Costner, and I quite liked his latest film that he's done, the revenge film. I've watched Field of Dreams during the lockdown, which I quite enjoyed. Didn't quite live up to the expectations of some of the reviews I'd seen and the hype I'd heard. I personally thought the film I watched this week, which is also a film on baseball, was a much better film. So I dug out Bull Durham. I watched it on Amazon Prime from 1988, directed by Ron Shelton, rated as one of the top films of 1988, actually, critically. Stars Kevin Costner, the love interest, Susan Sarandon, and a future husband, her ex now, Tim Robbins. It's about a fan who has an affair with one minor league baseball player each season and meets an up-and-coming pitcher, played by Tim Robbins, and the experienced catcher, the wise head of Kevin Costner, assigned to him and acts as a mentor. I was actually really pleasantly surprised with this film. It's probably one of the most enjoyable 2 hours I've had watching a big studio Hollywood film. I thought it was brilliantly written. I thought the performances by all the cast, particularly Susan Sarandon, were terrific. She was particularly sexy and devious as the love interest. Overall, I just thought it was a really, really well-written, well-made film. And I think even though you may not be interested in baseball or know anything about the sport, there's pretty much everything in there. It's about being young, lacking confidence in your ability with the Tim Robbins character, and having too many distractions in his life. His kind of party, wild animal side and his attraction for women is definitely his lack of focus for his talent as a baseball pitcher. Costner's the guy who's played in the major league, had his chance and blew it, and goes back to the minor leagues and almost becomes the mentor figure for the guy who really should be his arch enemy as he's chasing the same woman, but feels that will lack his focus, even though he's failed at his attempt to hit the big time. Anyone seen Bull Durham? I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was great. Highly recommend it. I know it's an old film. If you haven't seen it or you want to rediscover it, watch it again. It really is a good 2 hours, good studio movie from 1988. Second film I'll talk about a bit later. Dave saying Dances with Wolves. Yeah, the film that won in the Oscar. They're not a massive Kevin Costner fan. Yeah, I got to be honest, I got a bit of a soft spot for him. I know he's had a couple of bad years with Waterworld, Onwards, The Postman, some kind of bad romantic comedies. Okay, we'll move on. I'll tell you about the second film I watched later on, and I think a few of you might shout me down because I ended up switching it off. But I think a few of you probably like it. But here we go. So a little bit different now. Last week we did a round on the 1990s. So like media culture, things that were happening in TV, in sport, in entertainment, showbiz, politics. It's a little breakaway. It's not specifically film, but a lot of people wanted it back. So this year we're doing the 1970s. Here we go. Yeah, could do a Kevin Costner round for next week. Here we go, 1970s, before I was born. Number one, toys to start with. Ideal Toys debuted a popular line of tiny toy bikes in 1973 to celebrate which celebrity stuntman who made a lucky 13 jumps on his Harley and an epic leap over 13 vans. What a crazy, crazy guy. So number one again, Ideal Toys debuted popular line of tiny toy bikes in 1973 to celebrate which celebrity stuntman who made a lucky 13 jumps on his Harley and an epic leap over 13 vans. Looking for the name of the stuntman famous in the 1970s. Okay, number 2, we move from a toy line, a stuntman, to music and a prolific album. So number 2, Heart of Glass was a number 1 hit for new wave band Blondie in 1979. The song featured on the band's 3rd studio album, but name the album. Saw the band quite a few years ago, about 10 years ago in Bristol. They put on a good show, although Debbie Harry wouldn't sign any autographs at the end for any of the fans, which I thought was a little bit not on, but maybe she just wasn't in the mood. But your fans make you. Number 2, so Heart of Glass was a number 1 hit for new wave band Blondie in 1979. The song featured on the band's 3rd studio album, but name the album. Great band, they really were, had loads of great hits. Number 3 now, we go from music and pop culture. Anyone like a bit of golf? So some golf now. Which late golfer won his first claret jug at Royal Lytham in 1979, famously playing an iconic recovery shot from a car park? This is a golfer I sadly miss. Tragically died a few years back. Great player, so much charisma. But here's the question. Which late golfer won his first claret jug at Royal Lytham in 1979, famously playing an iconic recovery shot from a car park? So we move from sport, the British Open in the summer, and we move to some politics. You're probably saying, oh no. Number 4, who was British Prime Minister between 1970 and 1974, but he wasn't re-elected? So number 4, I'm looking for a British Prime Minister who reigned from 1970 to 1974. Who was that Prime Minister? For number 5, I've got 2 points on offer. So there's a point for one answer, a point for the other. So yeah, 2 points on offer. Here we go. 1970s culture. The popular long-running American television series Dallas started in the 70s decade. Which year did it start broadcasting? And name the actor who played J.R. Ewing. So J.R. Ewing, looking for the actor that played him. And I'm looking specifically for another point for the year it was broadcast in the 1970s. So what year did it first air on American television? So I'll do that again. The popular long-running American television series Dallas started in the 70s decade. Which year did it start broadcasting? For 1 point. And for the second point, name the actor who played J.R. Ewing. And I can assure you he's no relative of mine. The name spelt differently. Same surname. No relative, sadly. Number 6. We move from television to the Olympics. Here we go. The 1972 Summer Olympics were held in which famous city? So you go back to 1972, Summer Olympics, but which famous city were they held? That is number 6. We had a question on politics, a British Prime Minister. We're going to go to another political question, a Northern Ireland question. Here we go. A massacre in 1972 in the Bogside area of Derry, Northern Ireland, ended in British soldiers shooting 26 civilians during a protest. This historical event is known under what name and was documented in several documentaries and a feature film? This is a question relating to the Northern Ireland Troubles. Here it is again, number 7. A massacre in 1972 in the Bogside area of Derry, Northern Ireland, ended in British soldiers shooting 26 civilians during a protest. This historical event is known under what name and was documented in several TV documentaries and eventually a feature film? I think the feature film was made for TV and it starred the Irish actor James Nesbitt, who was in the popular TV series Cold Feet. Number 8, we move to an iconic fight. It's not a wrestling fight, it was a boxing fight. Here's the question. The iconic third and final heavyweight championship belt, contested between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, took place on October 1st, 1975. But name this legendary fight. So Ali came up with these names for these fights. I got to be honest, I sometimes put this one on DVD. On the night, they did a great documentary on it. For me, it's the best heavyweight fight of all time. It's brutal. But it was the iconic third and final heavyweight championship belt between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. It took place on October the 1st, 1975. But I'm asking you to name the legendary fight. What was it called? What did Ali coin the fight as, the name? The third fight, Frazier won the first. Ali won the second. And he just won the third. But what was the name of the fight? Here's one for the Richards. I know he likes his snooker. You've got the Masters going on at the moment, but we're going to go back to an old question, 1972. Who won his first World Snooker Championship, age 22, beating John Spencer in the 1972 final by 37 frames to 32? That would have been an epic. 37 frames to 32, crikey. But here we go, 9 again. Who won his first World Snooker Championship, age 22, beating John Spencer in the 1972 final by 37 frames to 32? Who was it? The final one now for round, what are we, number 3, 70s culture. Number 10 now, we move back to music. Here we go. Which American band had a US #1 hit with the debut single, My Sharona? It got a re-release for a film in the 90s with Winona Ryder. I can't think of the name of the film. It's gone, and Ethan Hawke. But which American band had a US #1 hit with their debut single, My Sharona? Great pop rock track. But who were the US band? Okay, we finished the third round of 10 questions. How did you get on with your 1970s culture, with politics, sport, music, entertainment? And if you need any shouting back out, let me know. Not a problem at all. A little bit different, breaks up the night. Not specifically film, of course, but, you know, a little bit related with the media. How did you get on with this round? And we'll move on to 4 in just a minute. Round 4 is computer game film adaptations. 10 questions on computer games that have been converted into films. Still yet to see a computer game that's been made into a good film, but you may be able to tell me otherwise. Is Susan confident on this one? Thinking she did well. We'll move on in just a sec. So the next round, as I said, is computer games that have been made into films, and another 10 questions. Anyone confident that they knew their 70s decade well and got a full house of marks? Okay, we'll move on to round number 4. It's computer game film adaptations, and question 1 is a 2-part answer. Well, I'm looking for 2 answers, a point for each. Lots of guesses, Bikey Chick says, for that round. Here we go, number 1. Back to the 1990s, the early 90s. This was a shockingly bad film. I remember seeing this one at the cinema. Should have asked for my money back. Name the 2 actors who play Brooklyn plumbers Mario and Luigi in the 1993 film adaptation of the classic Nintendo game Mario Brothers. It's a famous Nintendo game. It's held up well. Dave, I think, was born in the 70s, the late 70s. He killed that round. He's confident. So number 1, round 4. Name the 2 actors who played Brooklyn plumbers Mario and Luigi in the 1993 film adaptation of the classic Nintendo game Mario Brothers. So I'm looking for 2 actors. One I'd imagine you'll get easily, which is the Mario character. The other one, Luigi, is a little bit more tricky. Not such a big household name, but a good actor. More of a support man. Okay, number 2. Wouldn't know this one at all. Name the American actor known for his role in the comedy series Parks and Recreation, who voices Sonic the Hedgehog in the 2020 film. Wouldn't have a foggiest idea on this one. I found out the other night when writing these questions. But number 2 again, name the American actor known for his role in the comedy series Parks and Recreation, who voices Sonic the Hedgehog in the 2020 film. Here's another bad film from the 90s. I remember seeing this at the cinema and getting the giggles. I was, how old? 13 at the time. Number 3. Name the late Puerto Rican actor who plays villain Bison in 1994's Street Fighter. I think it was one of his last films. What a bad way to sort of go out. Good actor. But name the late Puerto Rico actor who plays villain Bison in 1994's Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Dave saying, yeah, terrible film, Mario. Wasn't a good adaptation at all. Good cast. Had Dennis Hopper as the bad guy. What's his name? Cooper. Haven't seen it since it came out back in the 90s, 93. Number 4 now. Name the 2005 computer film adaptation. It stars Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, and Dwayne Johnson. It's about space marines who are sent to investigate strange events at a research facility on Mars, but find themselves at the mercy of genetically enhanced killer machines. I've not seen this film, but I've heard it's not that bad as far as computer game adaptations go. But here we go. Name the 2005 computer film adaptation. The film stars Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, and Dwayne Johnson. It's about space marines who are sent to investigate strange events at a research facility on Mars, but find themselves at the mercy of genetically enhanced killer machines. But what is the name of the 2005 film? Next one's a film that came out 2 years ago. I saw this at the cinema, and actually it wasn't too bad, to be honest. Name the actress who plays heroine Lara Croft in the 2018 film version of Tomb Raider. So there were some earlier versions made in the 90s with a different lead actress. I'm looking for the lead actress who was in the 2018 film version. She played the hero, Lara Croft, in Tomb Raider. But what was her name? Who is the actress? That is number 5. For number 6, I'm going to give you a synopsis of a 2016 film. I just need you to tell me the name of the film. That simple. Here we go. Name the 2016 computer film adaptation about an orc horde invading a planet using a magic portal. A few human heroes and dissenting orcs must attempt to stop the true evil behind this war. This came out 4 years ago. Here's the question again. Name the 2016 computer film adaptation. It's about an orc horde invading a planet using a magic portal. A few human heroes and dissenting orcs must attempt to stop the true evil behind the war. What is the full title of the film? 4 more left as we move on to 7. I'm looking now for the name of the US actor. Here we go. Name the American actor who plays fugitive Prince Dastan in Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. This is another film I've not seen. Apparently, a list I saw is one of the better computer game adaptations, but I don't know. I've not seen this one. Don't really sort of intend to, but here's number 7. Name the US actor who plays fugitive Prince Dastan in Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Number 7. Number 8 now, and looking for, again, the name of a film from a little description. Here we go. Name this computer game film adaptation from 2006. A woman, Rose, goes in search of her adopted daughter within the confines of a strange, desolate town. Desolate town is probably a big clue for this one. But for number 8, it's a 2006 computer game film adaptation. It's about a woman, Rose, who goes in search of her adopted daughter within the confines of a strange, desolate town. But what is the name of that film? 2 more left. Looking for the actress's name now for number 9. And then I'm looking for the actor's name in number 10. Here we go. Number 9. Name the Ukrainian-born actress and former supermodel who plays heroine Alice in the Resident Evil films. Not had the joys of seeing any of these ones either. I don't know if they're good or bad, or if they're a mixed bag. But number 9, name me the Ukrainian-born actress and a former supermodel who plays heroine Alice in the Resident Evil movies. And lastly, number 10, for round 4, we're getting towards the end of the night with one more round left. Here is 10. Name the acclaimed Irish, 2-time Oscar-nominated actor who plays Carl Lynch in the 2016 film Assassin's Creed. Another film I've not seen. Wouldn't know if it was good or bad. But number 10, name the acclaimed Irish actor, 2-time Oscar-nominated actor who plays Carl Lynch in the 2016 film Assassin's Creed. So that is the 10. These were computer games or console games adapted into films, some of which released on the big screen, some kind of straight to the DVD or video release at the time. How did you fare? You good gamers? Do you like your old retro consoles? Do you still play those consoles? And have you seen any of those films? And how did you get on with this round? Same again, if you need any repeating, just let me know which ones. Yeah, Emma's asking for number 2. Yeah, no problem. Number 2 then, computer games adapted into films. Here's number 2. Okay, number 2. Name the American actor known for his role in the comedy series Parks and Recreation, who voices Sonic the Hedgehog in a 2020 film. This was a recent film computer game adaptation with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, but who voiced Sonic the Hedgehog? 3 and 6, yeah, no problem. Number 3, name the late Puerto Rico actor who plays villain Bison in 1994's Street Fighter. That's number 3. And number 6, name this 2016 computer film adaptation. It's about an orc horde invading a planet using a magic portal. A few human heroes and dissenting orcs must attempt to stop the true evil behind this war. But what is the name of this war adapted computer game film? Hit and miss this round, Dave saying a possible 6. 6 wouldn't be a bad score in fairness. Quite a tricky round. Okay, so in a minute, I'm going to reveal the last film I watched this week and also mention something else that you might want to watch if you get a spare 20 minutes. Just a shout out to some guys I know who've done quite well for themselves in filmmaking, making short films. Okay, hope you're enjoying the quiz so far. We got 1 round left, then a couple of little topics of conversation at the end, and then we'll reveal the answers for tonight. The last round, the Carry On films, which I think was a recommendation from Richard, based in the capital. He lives in London, tunes in every week, him and Amanda. Thanks for your support. Greatly appreciated. Okay, so the last film I watched this week, and I'm afraid I think somebody on here is going to shoot me down big time for this. I'd never seen Bloodsport. I don't particularly watch a lot of martial arts films, but it's a canon film. Late 1988 was the release. Directed by a guy called Newt Arnold, never come across. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the action martial arts hero, big in the 80s, mainly the late half and the 90s. And Forrest Whitaker, I was surprised to see in this one. Here's the lowdown. Frank Dux, an American martial arts artist serving in the military, decides to leave the army to compete in a martial arts tournament in Hong Kong, where fights to the death can occur. I'd heard some good things about this film. I'd never seen it. Wanted to watch it. Wasn't in the mood to watch anything too taxing. This was on Wednesday night, so I put this on, and I got to be honest, I was bitterly disappointed. It's not often that I switch off a film, and I had to switch this one off. I didn't get on with it at all. I know it's a martial art action film, but for me, the story was just as ropey as hell. I wasn't all that impressed by the fight sequences. And for me, just Jean-Claude Van Damme, I know he's a great martial arts action hero. He's fantastic at what he does. Tremendous body, very athletic. But to me, he just had no charisma whatsoever. I think one of us could have been cast in this film and had more charisma. I had to switch it off. And I know I'm going to get shot down for saying this, but Bloodsport just was not for me. Wasn't in the mood, didn't enjoy it, and I had to turn off the off switch. I think a few of you are going to shout me down for doing that. I'm sorry, John Claude. I just hope he don't ring on the door and hunt me down for saying that. But not a fan. On a separate note, don't know if any of you ever watch short films online. Years back, I used to run some short film events in Bristol, promoting filmmakers who were making shorts with a goal to move on to features. A couple of lads that used to show films at the events I ran called Cinema. They're doing really well for themselves. They're Bristol lads. I'll say their names. They're Paul Holbrook and Sam Dool. They're cousins. They're from working class backgrounds. They grew up in I believe in the 70s or 80s, and they make a lot of films about their roots, very genre films with a twist. And they've done really well. They've made some comedy films that they both featured in. Two guys in a van, kind of doing one-up antics on one another with sort of sexual innuendo and man talk. They've had some quite well-known TV actors in their films, people from your soap operas. They made films about dementia, all sorts of topics. This is the film they did that got a bit of publicity. It's on a really good website called Short of the Week. Highly recommend it. It's promoting short films from across the globe. They've won numerous awards for their films at festivals. If you've got 20 minutes, have a watch. They're really good talents, very good writers, and there's a really good performance from the lead actress who's based in Bristol. Check it out. It's called Hungry Joe by two guys who go by the name of Shunk Films. If you come to any of the cinema events that I used to do, Dave would have probably seen a few of their films. There's the link. It's called Hungry Joe. You get 20 minutes, have a look and see what you think and let me know. Okay, we'll move back to the quiz. Sorry about my review for Bloodsport. And we'll move on to the last round. I've never done a round on Carry On films. Did make me smile when I did these 10 questions. I actually quite like them. That's my guilty pleasure. Here we go. This one's for Richard in London. Carry On movies. You ready? 2 answers for this first one. Here we go. Name the first Carry On film released in 1958. And for a bonus point, name the actor who plays Sergeant Grimshaw, who was famous for playing the first Doctor Who. A friend of mine who's big into Doctor Who reckons this guy was the best one. I don't know. I've not seen any of the episodes. But here we are. Name the first Carry On film released in 1958. And for that bonus point, name the actor who plays Sergeant Grimshaw, who was famous for playing the first Doctor Who. 2 points on offer there. Number 2, I'm going to give you a synopsis of a Carry On film from 1966. Name the film. Here we go. Name the 1966 Carry On film. The sinister Dr. Watt has an evil scheme, kidnapping young, beautiful women and turning them into mannequins to sell to local stores. We know it's called Carry On something, but what film is it? 1966. The year England won the World Cup, and they released this masterpiece. But here we go again. Name the 1966 Carry On film. The sinister Dr. Watt has an evil scheme, kidnapping beautiful young women and turning them into mannequins to sell to local stores. What is the film? Number 3 now, with our last round tonight. And imagine you'll all get this one. Name the South African-born comedian famous for being Tony Hancock's sidekick who appeared in 19 Carry On films. There was a relative of mine who I thought looked the spitting image of this man. And whenever we used to say this, he used to get greatly offended. It's quite funny. But name the South African-born comedian, famous for being Tony Hancock's sideman, who appeared in 19 Carry On films. Who was he? Tricky question now. What I'll do is, I was going to give you a little bit, I'll give you a leeway, 3 years, if you're before the number or after, because it's quite tricky. Number 4, how many Carry On films did Kenneth Williams appear in? So the late British actor Kenneth Williams, what a character he was, very eccentric man. But how many Carry On films did Kenneth Williams appear in? And I'll give you a point if you're 3 years out either way, before or after. Number 5 now. Name the British actress known as the First Lady of Carry On. And he plays Queen Marie in 1971's Carry On Henry. She was in a kids' TV show from back in the day when I was a kid growing up, Simon and the Witch. Could you remember that one? So number 5, name the British actress known as the First Lady of Carry On. And he plays Queen Marie in 1971's Carry On Henry. The film where Henry VIII said, I've only met her 5 minutes and I already want off with her head. Remember it well. Number 6, you'll all get this one. Name the 1969 Carry On comedy about the far short misadventures of guests at an English holiday centre. That is number 6. Name the 1969 Carry On comedy about the misadventures of guests at an English holiday centre. And number 7, a few more left to end tonight's quiz. Looking for the name of one of the Carry On cast members. Here we go. Name the London-born Carry On star, born in 1934 and died in 1993, who appeared in 14 Carry On films. His catchphrase, in his strong Cockney accent, was, I only arst. That's terrible, but... Number 7, name the London-born Carry On star, born in 1934 and died in 1993, who appeared in 14 of the Carry On films. His catchphrase in his strong Cockney accent was, I only arst. I can't do that. It sounds more southwest, doesn't it? Bristolian. Number 8 now. Name the cheeky British actor who appeared in the Confessions sex comedy films and plays a press photographer in 1973's Carry On Girls. British actor I'm looking for. He was in the Confessions films. They always used to be on Channel 5, tongue-in-cheek, smutty sexual innuendo. But for number 8, name the cheeky British actor who appeared in the Confessions films and plays a press photographer in 1973's Carry On Girls. Number 9, a Barbara Windsor question. Sadly, she died a few weeks back, the EastEnders soap star. Here we go. Barbara Windsor made her Carry On debut in 1964, playing Daphne Honeybutt. But I want you to tell me the name of the film. The film is about a top secret chemical formula stolen by Stench and Agent Simpkins and his trainees hot on the trail, chasing villains across the world. But name the Carry On film. 1964, Barbara Windsor debut. Here's the question again, number 9. Barbara Windsor made her Carry On debut in 1964, playing Daphne Honeybutt. The film is about a top secret chemical formula stolen by Stench and Agent Simpkins and his trainees hot on the trail, chasing villains across the world. But name this 1964 Carry On film. And number 10, I remember seeing this one when it came out on VHS back in the day, and I have to say it was atrocious. So for number 10, name the title of the last Carry On film, the 31st one in all, released in 1992 and panned by critics with Jim Dale in the lead role. Jim Dale was in a lot of the Carry On films. I don't know how many in total. This was the last one. It came out in 1992. It's the 31st Carry On movie and absolutely panned by the critics. I think it was a box office disaster. It appeared in critics' worst films of the year. But what is the name of the last Carry On movie? Okay, that's your all 50 questions. That's your last 10 for your round on the comedy films made under the Carry On umbrella. How did you get on with this round? Richard asked for it. I hope you did well on it. Let me know what you think your predicted scores are on this round. And if you need any repeating, let me know which ones. And we'll reveal the answers for you shortly, and we'll see how you got on for this 9th edition under the second UK national lockdown, the LA Cinema Quiz. I hope you've enjoyed tonight, which is the main thing. It's all good fun, just to test your knowledge, keep you entertained, keep us all out of trouble. Amanda answered them all, wouldn't let me get a look in. Okay, so a couple of little final topics of conversation. I always like to get you involved, even though I can't see you or hear you. I've got you messaging on the live chat, and some of you I've got to know through the course of all these months. Okay, so topics of discussion tonight. I always ask you some film related things. Lucy saying not bad for that last round. Okay, so Richard asked for the Carry On films, the questions tonight. Carry On films ended in 1992. The last one, that was the last question. What are your thoughts on these films? They're quintessentially British, kind of seaside postcard humor, smutty humor. We're living in a day and age full of kind of political correctness. Whether you agree with that or disagree with you is needn't the matter, I guess. But would these films exist in today's climate with that in mind? People say about the kind of woke, isn't it, is the word, society. Could these British films now be made with the same depiction of women back in the 60s, the kind of smutty humor? What are your thoughts on the films? A, do you like them? And do you think they could exist? Could they be made in today's climate? Obviously, things change over the years. I'm sure in 20 years, maybe things will be less PC. I don't know. Maybe it is a good thing. I don't know. I'm going to sit on the fence a bit, but could these Carry On films be made today? Wanted to ask you your thoughts and opinions. And do you like these films? They crop up on the telly all the time. Very nostalgic. They've always got good names in them. They're always good comic actors. It's all a bit of fun. But would these films be made today? That's my first question. And my second one is, we've spoken about the future of cinema many times, and the cinema industry or the business were holding out this year for big film releases with the postponement of many films, many of which have been pushed back to 2021. We got loads to look out for. Bond, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Coming to America 2. The list goes on, June. But will these films be released cinematically? We see now that the pandemic is certainly, it's not disappearing, is it? You know, we're into a new year. The case numbers have been high over the winter, which we felt they would do. But will these films get cinema releases? Will we see them? Or will they have to keep pushing them back? Maybe we won't see these films until next year. Not trying to be pessimistic. What are your thoughts on that? A couple of comments on the Carry On things. Mr. Harlequin saying things have changed a lot from the 70s and a very un-PC era. Emma saying they wouldn't be the same now. They're just classics. They're just fun. I agree with you. They always put a smile on my face. You probably saw me with a little smirk on my face reading the questions. Dave Films saying, I don't think so. Too many snowflakes today, unfortunately. But I do like the Carry On films, but not all of them. I do always smile, particularly at Kenneth Williams. Really funny. I'm always amused that he's the gay guy, but he always catches the young, beautiful women in the showers or naked. I always find that quite amusing. Suzanne, I love them. Just fun, but they wouldn't be allowed now. And what were your thoughts on the film releases for this year? Will they be postponed longer? Will they maybe just go straight to the streaming platforms that have done particularly well of late? So many now. We've got, list goes on, Netflix, Amazon Prime, which I do like, Mubi, Criterion, which is only available in America, I think. What else have we got? Streaming platform, Disney Plus, of course. They went straight for release with stuff like Soul, which I enjoyed. What's Lucy saying? We laugh at different things now. Quite a difficult watch now with the Carry On. Dave saying about cinema. I think Dave's cinema may come to an end, and they may not, but who knows? People can stream these days, but not the same, is it? I know a lot of filmmakers putting all that hard work and creativity into their films, want their films to be cinematic. They want them seen in a cinema environment, in a setting with good quality sound and visuals. People like Denis Villeneuve, very cinematic. And of course, Christopher Nolan. Tarantino, I'd imagine, would feel the same. He likes shooting stuff in particular formats. Sid James, yeah, he crops up obviously in a question. Okay, so a couple of topics of conversation. We'll bring them back next week. Different ones. Okay, we'll read the answers out now and we'll see how you got on round by round and see how you did your total altogether. A couple more comments. There's still a place for cinema when this is over. Yeah, I think some of the best moments in my life have been in cinemas, particular moments, experiences. I think cinemas will have a rethink age restrictions, as now young people can access so much on their devices. Bikey Chick saying, I found the Carry On films difficult to watch. I think it's a generational thing. Okay, here we go. Here's the answers. Christian Slater was round number one. James, would you wish Rich a happy birthday for Monday? Yeah, of course I will. Wishing you a happy birthday. I'm sorry about the circumstances, but try and enjoy the day as best you can. And thanks a lot for your support. Appreciate it a lot over the last few weeks. Thank you kindly. Happy birthday. Okay, round one. Christian Slater, here we go. So the answer to number one, who plays Christian Slater's wife in True Romance? It's the American actress Patricia Arquette is answer number one. Patricia Arquette. Number two, I asked you the name of the character Christian Slater plays in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The character he plays is Will Scarlet. So Will Scarlet is the character he plays in number two. Dave's saying about home cinemas now. Yeah, good quality as well. A lot of the projection gear, projecting 4K image, good quality sound systems. Number 3, The Answer, the 1989 film that he co-stars with Winona Ryder, about a dark sociopath that teams up with a good girl who wants to eliminate the cool kids, is Heathers. Heathers, a film I've never seen. That might be on my watch list for next week. The actress Slater co-stars with in the romantic drama Bed of Roses is Mary Stuart Masterson. Mary Stuart Masterson. Number 5, the John Woo film from 1996. I gave you a synopsis. It co-stars John Travolta and Samantha Mathis. The film is Broken Arrow. So Broken Arrow is answer number 5. Number 6, I asked you the mini-series he won the supporting actor Golden Globe in 2015. He co-stars with Rami Malek, and the series is called Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot, don't know it at all. Supposed to be good, gets a good IMDb rating. The 1998 Christian Slater film with Cameron Diaz about antics at a bachelor party where it all goes wrong is Very Bad Things. Very Bad Things. Number 8, the controversial director who made Nymphomaniac Volumes 1 and 2, formed the Dogma filmmaking movement, is Lars von Trier. Lars von Trier got himself banned from the Cannes Film Festival for making some remark about the Nazis. I think he was banned for a number of years. Number 9, the 1990 Christian Slater film about a pirate radio host with a big mouth who speaks his mind and enthralls teenagers is Pump Up the Volume. Pump Up the Volume. And the animated film from 1992 where Slater provides a voice is Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest, or Fern Gully. Okay, that was the 10 questions. How did you get on with this one? Dave recommending Heathers. Need to watch this one. It might be on my watch list for next week. Who knows? What are your scores like for your first round? How did you get on, Bikey Chick? It's a recommendation from her last week. She likes Christian Slater films. Lucy with a 4. Yep, Bikey Chick saying watch Heathers. Mr. Harlequin, a good score of 8. Bikey Chick, good score of an 8. Shared that with Mr. Harlequin. Emma Richards saying 5 rubbish. It's not bad. Of which Mr. Harlequin got 2. Amanda, the brains tonight on round 1. Susan a 5 as well. A couple of 5s there. Number 2 was the drinks round. Famous drinks or mainly cocktails. Number 1, a White Russian from a much-loved 1998 black comedy featuring The Dude. Well, The Dude is Jeff Bridges. I'd imagine you all got this. It's the Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski by, of course, the Coen brothers. Dave did well on that. 9 out of 10. Good score. Top that round by the look of it, with the scores announced so far. Number 2, Free Orange Whips, declares Burton Mercier. Who's Burton Mercier? Well, it's a musical. It's mainly about the blues, rock music, I guess, 1980. It's, of course, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. The Blues Brothers is answer number 2. Free Orange Whips was from the Blues Brothers. Give yourself a point if you got that. Number 3 was probably one of the hardest ones. A sidecar cocktail, cognac, orange liqueur, and lemon juice. Might leave you all now. Make one. Okay, so it was a box office flop and a critical failure based on a 1987 satirical novel. The novel of the same name is Bonfire of the Vanities. Bonfire of the Vanities. It was Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis and Melanie Griffiths. Bonfire of the Vanities. Did anyone get that one? That was tricky. 4, a little bit easier. I'm looking for a lovable, bright, vulnerable character, aren't we all, who declares she's going to soothe a broken heart with some Shaka Khan. Good choice. And Vodka, but named the character who delivers that line. The character, of course, is Bridget Jones. Bridget Jones. Bikey Chick got the Bonfire of the Vanities one, another film I've never seen. 5, we went back to a classic 1940s film, but the cocktail was a bittersweet one, a French 75 from a World War II film. The film was Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. It was Casablanca. Casablanca is answer number 5. No cocktail round could not have a 007 Bond question. So this was a Bond film for number 6. It was a vodka Vesper Martini from a 2006 espionage movie. It was Casino Royale. Daniel Craig as Bond. Casino Royale with the vodka Vesper Martini. Number 7 was a red eye cocktail. It's a hangover cure with a mix of lager, tomato juice and egg. Sounds revolting. It features in which popular 1980s film set in Jamaica? It was Tom Cruise, and it was Cocktail. Cocktail. The answer for number 7. I think I fell in love with Elizabeth Shue in that film. Number 8 was an aperitif. It was a sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. But the character Phil Connors has this the same way every day. And the movie, of course, was the 1993 comedy Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, the answer, with Bill Murray and Addie McDowell. Number 9 was a tricky one. Midnight Margaritas, consumed by the wonderfully wacky Owens family witches, was a 1998 fantasy comedy. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. It was Practical Magic. Practical Magic, the film. Did anyone get this one? Tricky one, that one. Well done if you did. And the last one, the famous line, which was, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. It was Silence of the Lambs, of course, delivered by Anthony Hopkins, who win the Academy Award. Jodie Foster won the Best Actress, and the film would go on to win Best Picture. 1991 or 2, I believe. Bikey Chick got that one. How did you get on with this round? Quite enjoyed this one. What were your scores for round 2? Do the answers in just a minute for 1970s decade. It was the good old culture round. Emma, a pretty good score. The Richards was 6. Good score. I thought someone was coming through the window then when I saw that moving in the background. Bikey Chick, excellent. A 10. Well done. Susanna, 5. Mr. Harlequin, an 8 out of 10. And Shirley liking the round. Okay, 1970s. Okay, so the toy by Ideal Toys, celebrity stuntman, was Evel Knievel. Evel Knievel, answer 1 for round number 3. Shirley got a 5. Dave, not so good on the drinks. Okay, with a 4 by the look of it. Number 2, Heart of Glass was a number 1, but it featured on which studio album by Blondie? It was their 3rd. The album was called Parallel Lines. It's a good album, Parallel Lines. Number 3, the golfer was the Spaniard Seve Ballesteros, who won the British Open in 1979. So Seve Ballesteros, answer number 3. Who was the British Prime Minister between 1970 and and 74. He wasn't re-elected at the 74 election. It was Edward Heath. He was pretty much trounced by the trade unions at the time when they went on strike. So Edward Heath, answer number 4. 2 answers for number 5. It was 1978, the year Dallas started broadcasting on television. And who played J.R. Ewing? J.R. Ewing, it was Larry Hagman. So Larry Hagman, 1 point. The year 1978 for another point. Number 6, the 1972 Summer Olympics were held in Munich. So the 72 Olympics in the German city of Munich. Answer number 7, the massacre in 1972 involving the British Army in Derry, Northern Ireland. It was known as Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday is answer number 7. Number 8, the third and final fight between, heavyweight contest between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier in 1975. It was, there's going to be a chiller and a thriller and a killer when I get the gorilla in Manila. But it was the thriller in Manila. What a fight that was. I'll put it on occasionally. Watch it. It's a brutal fight. Really good boxing fight. Won by Ali, but it should have been a draw, really. Great fight. Number 9, who won his first Snooker World Championship in 1972, beating John Spencer. He was only 22. He'd win it 10 years later for the second time in 1982 after losing another 2 finals. It was my favourite snooker player, Alex Hurricane Higgins, the Irish showman. Alex Higgins, answer number 9. And number 10, it was the Knack that had the number 1 hit, My Sharona. So the Knack, the final one. How'd you get on with the 70s round? No real film questions in there. It was just about showbiz, entertainment, bit of politics, a little bit of history. How did you get on with that round? And we got 2 more rounds to announce with the answers. So 20 more questions. Emma did well on this. Well done at 8. A good score. Really good. Better, said Lucy with a 7. Bikey Chick enjoyed that round, saying a great round, James. Scoring a 7. Good score. Suzanne, excellent, with a 10. Mr. Harlequin, again good, with a 10. Anyone else? Okay, the computer game ones. So these were computer games, or shall I say console games, adapted, made into films. It was fun to remember. And Dave, good score of a 9. Okay, so the 2 actors that play the Mario brothers, so Mario and Luigi. First one was Bob Hoskins, he plays Mario. Second one, trickier, it was John Leguizamo. So Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo play the famous plumbers, the Mario brothers. Shirley enjoyed that one. She got a 6 for the 70s. I wouldn't know this next one. The actor that voices Sonic the Hedgehog for last year's film is a guy called Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz, he appears in the comedy series Parks and Recreation. So Ben Schwartz, answer number 2. So who's the late actor who plays the villain Bison in Street Fighter from 1994? He was a good actor. It was Raul Julia. He was in the Addams Family, of course. So Raul Julio, number 3. Number 4, I gave you a description of a 2005 film with Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike and Dwayne Johnson about space marines investigating strange events. The film is called Doom. Doom is like a shoot 'em up game. It's quite a good game. Doom, answer number 4. Who played Tomb Raider in 2018 film? Played Lara Croft, sorry. It was Alicia Vikander. Alicia Vikander, answer number 5. Number 6, I gave you a description of a 2016 computer film adaptation. It was Warcraft. It's also known as Warcraft The Beginning, but Warcraft is fine for the answer. Number 7, the actor that plays the character Dastan in Prince of Persia, Sands of Time is Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal is answer number 7. Answer 8, a 2006 computer game adaptation. It's Silent Hill. Silent Hill is answer 8. Number 9, it's Mila Jovovich, who plays the heroine Alice in the Resident Evil movies. So Mila Jovovich, a point if you answer that one for number 9. And a final one, number 10, is the great Michael Fassbender, who stars in Assassin's Creed, plays the character Carl Lynch. So Michael Fassbender, the Oscar-nominated actor, Irish actor, always very good. Okay, so that's the 10 answers for your computer adaptations made into movies. How'd you get on with this one? Slightly tricky around this one, especially if you're not into your games. Lucy with a 4. Emma did really well with a 9. I know Ian loves his gaming. He likes a lot of the old consoles, I believe. Your Segas, your Nintendos, your Ataris. Mr. Harlequin equaled that score with a 9, another good score. Bikey Chick did well, 2 less with a 7. And Suzanne, same as Lucy, a 4. Any other scores? And we'll move on to the final round. So this was the birthday boy for Monday. Asked for a round on Carry On films. Here the answer. Oh dear, Dave, a 3. I'm surprised, Dave. I thought you'd be quite good on this one, in all honesty. Okay, here we go. So the 2 answers for the first one, the first Carry On film released in 1958 is Carry On Sergeant. And it was William Hartnell that played the character Sergeant Grimshaw. He'd be the first Doctor Who. So Carry On Sergeant, 1 point. And your second point is William Hartnell. The film I described about an evil scheme kidnapping beautiful young women, turning them into mannequins to sell, is Carry On Screaming. Carry On Screaming is answer 2. Dave mentioned him, loved him. It was Sid James, who was Tony Hancock's sidekick. He was South African born and he appeared in 19 of the Carry On films. So Sid James is your answer 3. I'll give you a point for this next one if you answered 3 less or 3 more. I asked you how many films did Carry On films did Kenneth Williams appear in? The answer was 25. So if you got 22, I'll give you a point. If you got 28, I'll give you a point. So 24, and if you got 25, you can have a point as well. That is the answer. Number 5, it was Joan Sims, the First Lady of Carry On, and she plays Queen Mary in 1971's Carry On Henry. Joan Sims. Carry On Camping, I bet you all got this one for number 6, about the misadventures of guests at an English holiday centre. Carry On Camping, number 6. Number 7, the Carry On comedy star, born in 1934, died in 1993, appeared in 14 of the films. He had a strong Cockney accent and was known for saying, "I only arsed." That's terrible. It's Bernard Bresslaw. Bernard Bresslaw, answer 7. Number 8, the British actor who appeared in the Confessions films and plays a press photographer in Carry On Girls is Robin Asquith. Robin Asquith, number 8. Number 9, the first Barbara Windsor Carry On film, a debut. It was 1964, and it's Carry On Spying. So Carry On Spying. And the final one, the last Carry On film, the 31st one made, the final one, is the dreadful Carry On Columbus. So bad, it's beyond belief. Carry On Columbus, your final answer for tonight. So yeah, let me know your scores for the final round. And if you tally them all up, let me see how you got on for tonight's quiz. As I said, it was the 9th edition tonight, the 9th week. We brought back the quiz going back a few months ago in December, I think. I'm losing track of time. Lucy saying a 7, and Susan scoring a 35 is her final total for tonight. Looks like we might be locked down. I don't know. We're not sure, but it looks like it could be till March, April. Who knows? It sort of changes by the day, doesn't it? 5 for Dave for the Carry On round, 6 for Bikey Chick. Mum got all 6. Emma, the Richards total was 31. Mr. Harlequin did well. What a Carry On. 11 out of 11. Well done. So yeah, some good final scores so far. Some good scores all round for the rounds. Lucy got a 27, was her total tonight. How did everyone else fare? Biker Chick, a 38. Did someone else have a 38? No, that's the leading one so far. I got a feeling Mr. Harlequin's going to do well on this one. 46, yeah, I was right. 30's not bad. That's Dave. Not bad at all. Well done. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Okay, so if you like us to be, we can be back next week. Same time, same place here on YouTube at 8:30 with a weekly quiz. If you want to see us back, shall I say, if you want to see me back, there's no one else here apart from my wife upstairs, unless the burglars are broken in round the back. That sounds like a Carry On gag there. Anything people want to see next week? I think the vast majority of the questions tonight were suggestions. Anything people would like to see maybe a little bit different? Maybe a theme instead of rounds, a film or a theme altogether. Okay, no problem. I can come back next week. Not a problem at all. Another decade round. Any specific decade? I tend to do ones quite modern. I could do a really random decade like the 1910s or the 1920s, the 1780s. No, I wouldn't. Doctor Who monsters. Okay. Bond films. Okay, we've done Bond films before, but we could bring that back. Any other suggestions? Thought somebody might say the 1980s, always popular. Not a problem. Another decade round. We did do the 80s, but could maybe do that. Not a problem. If there's any other suggestions, let me know. Yeah, do horror. That always goes down well. We've done that 2 or 3 times. Not a problem. I could do a thing. I know it's a little bit silly. I could just grab a random DVD that's on my collection and kind of cover up the cover and see if you can guess the film. Like, it's going to be pretty tricky, but I could just use a bit of paper and say, what is this film? It stars Gene Hackman and Al Pacino. Something along those lines, make a little bit of visuals. I kind of like the music rounds we did before, but we're not really supposed to play music. Although stupidly, I could, it'd be atrocious, but I could sing the lines or maybe. Horror again. Okay, so we'll be back next week, as I said, on the YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, as you do. It's always good support. I do enjoy it. I hope you do as well. And yeah, sing. I've got a guitar here, but I don't strum on this. I've been learning it, and I'm not that good, so I could try and learn a few chords. I'm going to have a little play with that, a little strum after the quiz. Film synopsis is a good idea. Yeah, I'm not competent enough on guitar to play the chords. I only know about 8 chords, 8 or 9. Certainly not going to embarrass myself. Oh, the songs, yeah. Problem with the songs, I could sing them. I got to know the lyrics, but they're not written to music accompanied. That's the problem. So I got the lyrics, but not the music. I haven't written. That's the hard part for me, the music. I could sing the synopsis. I don't mind making a fool of myself. I've been doing that for nearly 40 years. So, okay, so we'll be back next week. Thanks a lot. I'll see what I can muster up in the week with the questions. Thanks for tuning in. I've enjoyed tonight. It's been a good giggle. It's always good fun. I hope you enjoy it. More importantly, a round of dialogue. Yeah, a round of applause, or maybe no applause. We'll see you next week. It'll be week number 10. Crikey, week number 10. The year's 2021. I'm even losing track of that. I'm even losing track of the day of the week, the time. Anyway, thanks a lot. I'm waffling on. That's the end of tonight's LA Cinema quiz. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe, but also just watch great films. Good night and good luck. Good night. Thank you.